Welcome to the Gransberry Chronicles weekly pick'em. It's January of 2023, and we are in week 18. That's right, the last week of the regular season. It is about that time to see who will host the trophy or at least compete for the trophy. And I got my boy D Jones on the right. And we got old big sexy coach on the left. We're gonna start the new year off right with big sexy. What's up, Coach Big Sexy? What's that? What that mean? Cut the big, cut the sexy. Which part?
Both of
You
them.
know you want.
Oh,
No,
you like it. You
nope.
know you like it. Look, newsflash: if you don't like it, don't put it as your name on the fantasy team. And I
It's
would
not
never.
on there.
You changed it after the season started. I had already got my names and everybody's fantasy names, so you had plenty of time. You went in the system and put that down. So
What happened was
I'm glad we were able to start the year off with all of us joining in. That's always a good thing. And I, personally needed an extra day to talk football. I just wasn't really feeling the subject of football yesterday. And I told my co-host, I was like, I think I need one more day before I get into it. But we're not going to keep you long. It's the start of the year, great new things. And, definitely want to start off with being glad that, Hamlin is trending up. And that's all I will say about that, honestly, because other than we get to the games, because obviously by now you've either seen it, you heard about it, and we don't have to keep rehashing it. Just live for the good moments, which is he's trending upward. So, there's still a few divisions that are undecided in week 18. And before we get into those games and the magical moments of that, D Jones, you gonna hit us with the high points of I get them out the ways and take it away.
Yeah, so we'll get these out the way. We all picked Tampa Bay to beat Atlanta. We all picked Minnesota over Chicago. Gransberry and I picked the Chargers. B Pat picked Denver solo. So he's solo on that one. We all picked Kansas City to beat Vegas. And B is also solo with picking Miami over the Jets. I actually had Miami, but in the pre-show, I switched it to the Jets because we're just not sure if Tua's going to be out of protocol. There, we all picked New Orleans over Carolina, Pittsburgh over Cleveland, San Fran to beat Arizona. Those are the get them out the way picks. We'll talk about the other ones.
All right then. Okay, guys. Well, let's get the ones that really nobody wants to talk about out the way. And obviously at this late in the stage, we will start with Houston. Houston is trending up on the first pick if they can hold out in week 18 with a good L. And ironically enough, I did pick the Texans just because I'm not picking the Colts as long as Saturday is the coach. That's the pack that Jones and I have at the moment. So, I think they'll still be fine if they don't get the number one pick because it would be Chicago. And I don't think Chicago is going to intentionally pick a quarterback. And the good thing is there's more than one good quarterback in this draft. So we'll either be right behind it or we'll still be in position. So, guys, I know what D Jones picked. B, you picked.
I changed my pick to Houston actually as well.
Okay. And it's possible.
And
it is possible.
It is possible. I mean, you have Sammy E being the quarterback. Move on.
All right. So next up, we actually have the game deciding the AFC South, which is Tennessee versus Jacksonville. I remember these awesome moments of being in the last game of the season to decide if you were going to win the division or, swap for the wild card spot. But we're not there this time. And so with that edge, I think Jacksonville probably has it because right now they're a more complete team. Tennessee, yes, I think Hobbs will get more back in the rhythm, being with the team a full week and things of that nature. But they're on the road in Jacksonville. I think the Jacksonville crowd is going to be awesome, great weather to be trying to fight for the division. And, Lawrence is a really good quarterback. So if they can just take care of the ball and play their game, I don't think it'll be like they did us, but I think it'll be just as good enough if depending on who's playing quarterback. I don't think Hobbs is as dangerous with the ball as far as not being careless. But at the same time, I think Jacksonville has enough to go ahead and take the division at the end. Coach?
I'm going to Jacksonville Jaguars for this one because they're fully healthy. They're on a winning streak, per se. Doug Peterson has them actually playing better than, from since they lost to the Texans, actually. They lost a lot of close games early as well, one-score games. Right now, Dobbs, he looked better than Malik Willis. And it says a lot for them to go with him instead of Malik Willis at this time. Because I don't think, me personally, I don't think Verbal wanted Willis to be drafted anyway. So, but I'm going to go ahead and get Jacksonville in this one in great weather. D. Jones.
I don't trust Jacksonville, but I'm gonna pick them. So this is somewhat of an emotional pick, but I mean they're playing well. I don't trust them to win this. I don't trust them not to lose it. So it's like I'm going with Jacksonville really because I don't want to see Tennessee do it, and I want to see Jacksonville have something to root for moving forward. If Derrick Henry's playing the way Dobbs is playing, Tennessee can definitely win this game because we know what Jacksonville does. But they're playing pretty confident, so I'm with you guys, Jacksonville.
All right, I just want to note that on the end of that about Jacksonville, I think the good thing for them is who they have under center. He's level-headed. He's been in tough positions, championship positions, and I think that experience comes into play when
and a coach too.
Right. Yeah. Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Correct. And so you're able to pass that along and be unified as a team. So we'll leave it at that. Next up is actually Detroit at Green Bay. It's January, but still my sentiments about Green Bay in these colder months, pretty hard to travel up to Wisconsin and get a win. But knowing that they need this win to get into the playoffs, I expect Detroit to try their hardest, but I'm still rolling with Green Bay. And because we know this is our co-host team in the NFC, Coach, I'm going to let you go next so D. Jones can round it out.
I'm going Green Bay Packers on this one. I know we've kind of started, talking about how bad they were playing at the beginning of the year. And then, when they found out that Aaron Rodgers had the finger situation, the broken finger, and then all of a sudden the light bulb just, switched on. But this is Green Bay is not no slouch, with the fact not only just 12 being the quarterback, but think of LaFleur. They went 12 in 1 year, and then they went 13. I mean, it's not a team that's like, well, we suck, blah, blah, blah. Jones is starting to run. Dylan is starting to run. The running back situation is stable. And
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. And they're starting to ball. And
you're getting emotional.
I know. And then
talk about D, but go ahead.
I know that's what I said. I know.
Oh, okay.
And then on top of that, Christian Watson, who would think that, and then the other rookie receiver, they didn't push Cobbs down, Randall Cobb down in the depth chart, and even Lazard. So I'm going with Green Bay in this one. I don't, how we feel about Detroit. D. Jones might pick Detroit just to say Detroit lose, but I doubt it this time. So, but I'm going Green Bay. D. Jones.
I got you.
D. Jones solo.
Every time I pick Detroit loses, but they won last week. So that I broke that. I picked them last week and they won. So I'm sorry for interrupting you, but you saying Aaron Jones and Dylan starting to run. They've been running. The problem was when Green Bay was losing, they wasn't letting them boys run. They was trying to let Aaron Rodgers throw the ball like he was young Aaron Rodgers, and he's not. I gave this pick last week. It's Green Bay. I said they was going to win out a few weeks ago, and they still going to win out. It's just going to be, if this game was in Detroit, I would be more nervous. I'm still not totally confident, but yeah, this game being in Green Bay, it's go Pack go all day.
Oh, well, that's no surprise that you would feel that way. Just to close out on that topic, I distinctly remember too, you talked about earlier in the season during our picks about, Rodgers working with his receivers. Like you said, he had what he needed. He needed to work with them. And that is a testament to what you stated earlier, Coach, which was, you see his more veteran guys moving down in the depth chart, not because they're not needed, but because he's actually able to use all of his depth chart.
Right.
So,
and I'm sorry, T, so for clarification, Green Bay win this game, Green Bay is in the playoffs. If Detroit wins this game, they still need help from the Seattle game to get into the playoffs. So just for that clarification.
Yes, that's correct. So I said they playing for the playoffs, but actually both teams are playing for the playoffs.
Yeah,
one
both.
Just needs help. The other controls their destiny. What a great position to be in. So moving on to the team they need help from, we have the Rams versus Seattle. And I really only put this on here, as you guys noted, when I, said the show for tonight. Bobby Wagner's returning home for the first time, obviously, since signing with the Rams. He had a great game against them at home, meaning LA, his new home. And this is a return. He definitely spoke highly of the fan base and his love of Seattle, and just being able to go back home. So he's looking to have an exciting game. Obviously, he would like to be a spoiler in a sense. He doesn't want Seattle to win. But Seattle at the same time needs to lose in order for Detroit to get in. Even that, saying all of that, I know Baker's the QB. I need Geno to come through. They at home, and Seattle needs to take this win. D?
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of pressure on Geno this game, I think, because the Rams are going to play loose and free. The pressure is all on Seattle at home to come through a division game. I'm picking Seattle because they're at home, but I think this is going to be one of Coach's field goal games here. So I'm picking Seattle. What you say, Coach?
I was getting ready to say the same thing. Field goal game.
I know. I'm sorry. I stole your thunder.
No, that's all right. Field goal game at the crib, Seattle.
So obviously, I don't expect too much in the conversation on this next game, and not meaning too much, but we may view the game differently. It's Dallas at Washington, and there's a quarterback carousel going on over there. So at this point, Dallas should just play their game, play consistent, go in there and try to stay healthy, come away with the win, and then they'll have to sit back and see what happens with Philly. They're not in the driver's seat, but they're still definitely very much able to obtain that winning spot for the division. So my pick is Dallas. Coach?
Dallas.
It's so sweet. We all picked Dallas. I think it was funny that Washington's coach didn't realize that if they lost last week, and we talked about this in our group chat,
we did,
that he didn't realize that they were going to be eliminated if they lost that game. And he was like, and I get the whole I expected us to win.
Funny or embarrassing? Because I mean,
when I say funny, I don't mean like how.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
I think that's a true example of something that should be considered an embarrassment, because every level of your team is reporting up to you, and you're not putting your players in a position to understand the intensity level needed for the win. Obviously, you're supposed to be prepping to win every week, but maybe he would have started a different quarterback. He would have took it from a different perspective. Who knows? But you definitely should not be ignorant of that.
He shouldn't have. But I will say that.
I will say. I would.
He was
I
like,
would
we
say.
eliminated?
Yeah, I would say this though. The Wentz, him. I mean, the thing is, I see really why he went to Wentz, because they were like 0-2-1 in the last 4 games, but you can tell Heineke was moving the ball, pushing the ball. And I'm surprised he didn't go to Heineke at halftime. But
Well,
because they were
I'm
within
not
that
even
game.
questioning. I'm not even questioning the call to start Wentz. I'm more so talking about him not
The
knowing
knowledge of knowing
that
of the where he
they was
stood.
going to be eliminated if they lost. That's the
Yeah.
part that got me.
Yeah.
So
That
anyway,
makes
we
sense.
can move on.
Well,
Dallas in this game.
on the other side of the NFC East, it's the Giants and the Eagles, and obviously the Eagles are still in the driver's seat. We know they've had injury at quarterback, and being in the driver's seat, they are in control of whether or not they actually win the division and the number one seed. So it's all on them. It's time to roll. I think they have enough definitely to beat the Giants at home. You know, that crowd is a very vicious crowd. And this is one where weather is not really in play because both teams are, familiar with cold weather. And shout out to Gonzalez. He came in a little late joking about Tutty for the Commanders, but we won't even get into the mascot conversation because I'm still like, I'm sorry, we are gonna back up. Just 1 second. We're gonna back up. We're gonna get back to the Giants versus Philly
Just for
because
him. Just
just for
for
you,
him.
Gonzalez, because and for me too, because I'm highly disappointed that $1 billion organization think tank room came up with that look for Tutty. It's not
Right.
that they came up with the hog. We know where it came from. And that you don't even know that the original hogs filed a trademark, which
They
means
did.
you didn't even use anybody in the legal department to run a search to see. So maybe you were just doing it just for that game and you were just like respect to the hogs, right? For the anniversary of it and everything. But hopefully, no, I know that Gonzalez said it's a throwback name for the hog line. That's not my point. My point is the way Tutty looks, not why they use Tutty. Everyone should know why the hog line, where it comes from, if you study in the history of them. My point is the look of it. That was the best material. That was the best costume. I've seen junior high school plays put together a better costume for an animal. I mean, we put onesies on kids at Halloween that look better than that costume. So I was just disappointed that this is the best you can do. So I'm sorry. That was my tangent for the night. I mean, it just looked like little arms was hanging, like something extra, like the pig was on its
I
way to
didn't
be
see it.
slaughtered.
I
Like
gotta
it
look it
was,
up.
it
I
was
gotta
too
look
much.
it up. I didn't see it.
Oh, you got to look it up. And when you look it up, you're going to be confused because you're going to be like, is this an official tweet? Like, this is officially what it looks like? Yeah. We'll send it to you in the group chat. Now, back to Philly and the Giants, which is very important. The Giants have already punched their ticket. It's so odd that the last time they actually made the playoffs was when Odell was on the team. It just creates such a stretch of how things really haven't came together for them in a while. So congrats to them for at least already punching their ticket. So they either help Dallas or hurt no, they'll help Dallas and hurt Philly, or they'll leave Dallas where they are and Philly gets what's theirs. Because at the end of the day, obviously this season has been about the NFC East because all three will be in the playoffs. The three we're talking about anyway: Dallas, Giants, and Philly. We definitely are not talking about Tutty's team. So with that in mind, Coach Pat, who you rolling with? The Giants and Jones or the Eagles?
You didn't say who you picked.
I said I'm going with Philly.
Okay,
At
I missed
home.
that part.
That was at the
Okay, but
beginning
good.
because I said I'm gonna give it to
Okay,
them at home. I'm not
my bad.
concerned about the weather. I got on my Tutty tangent and that messed it up, I'm sure.
Yeah, I totally missed it. Okay.
Sorry.
No, that's my bad.
Not
So,
Teddy's team. That was funny. Anyways, I'm gonna go with the Philadelphia Eagles. They need it. In my opinion, Philly needs this win. Because the reason why I say that is because it's just to get the morale back, the mojo back. They lost the last two with Minshew being the quarterback. I don't know whether or not Minshew is playing, whether or not Jalen's coming back for this game, and then Minshew is just playing the whole game. I don't know what the particulars on that as well because I saw he practiced limited, then he practiced full. I don't know just yet for that. But I just think Philly is going to try to have a win to be like, look, we need to get this number one seed. We should have did this 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. Let's go on and get it out the way. Get Jalen another week to rest that shoulder. Week of game planning and make Dallas go on the road to go to Tampa and be done.
Oh, and bring us back to where it all started, huh? Dallas,
Yes,
Dallas and
Dallas and
Tampa.
Tampa,
Mm,
Dallas and Tampa, and I mean
that
because
would be that would
it's
be
it's
good.
it's gonna the home field is gonna be more important to Philly this week than it ever has the last 2 or 3 weeks. Last 2 or 3 weeks was just going through the motions and stuff like that. But this week they need to they need to lock themselves in, and I feel like they need this win just to say, hey, we're the top in the NFC and call it a day.
Yeah, well, the top meaning regaining it, but you need to push through. D Jones, I'm waiting on your pick.
I've been nodding my head the whole time because I agree with everything y'all said. So I'm
Okay.
picking Philly. They need this game more than anybody else, really.
So, your girl has a birthday this weekend.
Oh yeah, oh
Uh,
yeah.
my birthday's on Sunday,
Happy
and
birthday.
Mhm.
I will not be in Indianapolis at Houston versus Indy for my birthday.
Catching
Uh,
flights, not feelings.
Yeah, catching
but
flights,
I won't be
getting
at that
flued
game.
out.
I am not getting flued out. We are not putting that on the record ever. Shut it down. Shut it down before it started. Let me let's kill that right now.
Mm.
Not getting flued out. Not gonna happen. So moving on. But I am going to attend the game. I'll leave it at that. So the next game up is it's Baltimore at Cincinnati. And obviously, the division is still at play. This is the other division that's still on hold, depending on a win. And basically, the winner of the game should win the division. Um, what, but we don't know
Uh,
about that part. So
if
this is
Cincinnati wins the game, they lock up the division.
they lock up the division. If
Yeah,
not, it plays into play some other issues with the rest
with
of
the game,
everything
with
else
the
that's been
suspended
going on
game.
with the
Yeah,
suspended game, right? Which hasn't officially been canceled. It's still suspended.
suspended.
So with that in mind, the pressures of returning back to football this week for Cincy, they were still definitely very much involved in the tense moments from Monday night's game. But I think that um, I tweeted today that sports brings us together, and it really does. And this week has been an example of that. And so I think that the unity of the teams, and definitely the great news that was presented by the medical professionals in Cincy today, gives the Cincy team a little bit more ease to get out there and do what they do professionally. So of course, theirs not as heightened as Buffalo. So with all of that being said, I think Cincy should be able to pull this one out. Joe Burrow is like the coolest dude I ever seen behind center. He just
Coolest.
is so pressureless ever. It's just so even keel that I'm looking forward to seeing them regroup on the field. Coach.
Well, I jumped on the Cincinnati bandwagon weeks ago, and no reason for me to jump off of this one this week. It would have been real interesting if Lamar was playing, and that would have been an interesting dynamic in that particular game. But Baltimore's defense is not going to be scared going against Cincy. Cincinnati's offense is not going to be scared of going against Baltimore's defense. But Higgins and Chase, and we talked about the wide receiver cores weeks ago as well, and Cincinnati's got them. So I'm going with Cincinnati in this one. I'm not gonna say blowout because Baltimore never really seems to get blown out. But it's gonna be a real physical game. I'm gonna go with Cincinnati Bengals at the crib.
And I'm also wishing the best for Higgins too.
Yes,
He's had
yes,
a tough week
yes.
from very disrespectful fans, and I wouldn't even consider those people fans because
No.
fans don't do things like that. And
Yeah.
um, I say that from a general place. For years I've been very uncomfortable with the idea that fandom entitles you to disrespect humans because we are all still people. And one of my first quote unquote up close views of that was, the Matt Schaub era where people felt comfortable like
Go to his house.
excessively booing and going
Show up
to
at
his
his
home.
house.
Go
Yeah.
to his
Like,
house.
and then when it's convenient, we say this is entertainment and a game, but we're at people's homes? Like, really? Like, did you go to Procter and Gamble's home when the toilet paper went up? Like,
Right.
have you been to the chicken farms when these eggs cost more than
Right.
steak?
Right.
But what?
Yeah.
So for me, I was highly disappointed in that. I was highly disappointed in threats and insults. People do a lot of things in the moment, but when you intentionally prepare sentences, I'm just not. There are things you can blurt out in situations that you didn't get a chance to think about yourself, catch yourself. But anytime you tweet, I'm never under the belief that it was accidental because there is a moment in which you don't have to press send. And so for me, I'm highly disappointed in that type of behavior. But Higgins was also at the hospital, not leaving. Um, and so for that, I'm just wishing him some peace. And I'm definitely glad this game is at home because you
Yeah.
definitely need that first itch back. That's the glory of these last two games we're talking about. It involves the teams from Monday night and they both get to be at home. And it would just be really, I think, much harder if they both had to go on the road.
Yeah.
Because I think at that moment when you experience something like that, you need your family, you need a hug, you need a kiss from your favorite person, you need something more, to hold your children, because you now start to think like, oh my gosh, I could go to the game and I could
This
just not
happens.
home the same day. And I'm not talking about the far end, just even we've seen players who get hurt on the road and then they have to get your family to you. Thank goodness
Mhm.
his family for
He
the
was
initial
there.
part
His
was there.
mom was there. Yeah.
His mom was there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So even with all of that, it's pretty clear we're picking Cincy. And I mean, I'll just say it. I'm actually going to attend that game. That's the game I'm going to head to this weekend. Um, yeah, that's what the Stadium Queen does.
And you said my pick is Cincy. I just wanted to just two seconds here. This is kind of my soapbox thing with the human part of it, with not calling a player trash. Like I won't call a guy trash
Mm-hmm.
because of, I mean, it's like that's a human over there. I'm not gonna, and he's playing at the highest level at this sport. So even if he's not what we're used to seeing, and as far as excellence, no, I won't call him trash. He might not be that great compared to his peers, but I wouldn't call him trash. And it was good to see Josh Allen and also the family publicly defend Higgins and give him, like you said, try to give him some peace that, hey, that was a regular football play. You did nothing wrong. There was nothing that you could have done. So, when these scumbags are doing stuff on Twitter and stuff like that, it's like you said, you said it perfect. It's just no place for it.
Right. So moving on from our thumb thugs to the final game, and that is definitely going to be Buffalo's game. Um, they're playing New England. Um, in an odd moment, and this is so left field and random. I don't know why, but I feel like something about the game will be special for everyone, just because anytime anything has really like been important or tragic in the NFL, Belichick has always found a way to extend some type of grace to the other team. And I just anticipate his level of professionalism and compassion to be on display. He's usually viewed as this harsh and cold post game interviewer or interviewer period. But remember when I can't even think of his name at the moment, it just went blank. But his daughter had cancer and he had all of his cheerleaders wear the jerseys. He played for us.
Oh yeah,
Matter of
yeah,
fact, he
yeah.
ended up playing
Though he went to Penn
so,
State and then I remember which one you're talking
yeah,
about.
so that just
Played at
moments
Cincinnati.
I
like
know
He
that.
played at Cincinnati. He played at Cincinnati, then came to us.
Correct. And so it was just a very
Strong.
touching moment because that's like a very different thing to do, right? And he was doing whatever he could to contribute in that moment. And Sean is definitely a player's coach at the highest level, and I just feel like he is in the best position to help his team. When you realize your coach's first words are, "I need to be at the hospital with my player and not coaching this game," like there was just like no second pause to that. It gets everybody behind him, and I
Devin
say
Steele.
everybody in him. Still.
Devin Steele.
So it gets everybody going. I'm definitely picking Buffalo. I think it'll be very difficult for them, but I'm still picking them. I just think that they're going to all do whatever they can to help each other. And they have been such a resilient organization with everything going on in their area, weather-wise, and everything. I mean, twice snow has been really a burden for the area. And I don't mean just the players. That's why I say the area and the people.
It
They
just
canceled the game.
I got it. They said that if Baltimore defeats Cincinnati on Sunday, and if the two clubs are scheduled to play a wild card game against each other, the site for that game would be determined by a coin toss.
I was gonna say they probably use a coin toss. Okay.
And the AFC Championship game could be played at a neutral site because they're not.
At a neutral
They
site.
canceled the game. They canceled the game.
Awesome.
So they won't.
Great
They
update.
won't play the game.
Great update. That's that. I think that, and I want to say I'm gonna go back and look, but I think most things like that when they get down to being convoluted, it's a coin toss. Because they even do that in high school playoffs. The coaches meet up and do the coin toss in person.
Yeah.
So one of the coaches was discussing with me how they actually did their coin toss in a parking lot. They happen to be in town.
They do it in basketball too, as far as home and away and all that good stuff. But yeah.
So this is a very common thing. So before people get on some tangent or outrage or whatever, it's a very common thing in sports, and they usually do it in person so that there's complete fairness, even with all of the technology. So I'm sure, whatever's necessary. So I think they probably sat down and looked at all the positioning of it and decided what was best. And I think that's just what you have to do in these situations, very unique situations. I expect some type of amendment over the summer to the rules to figure out how you resolve and make up games. And it'll definitely be different for anything that happens in the last 2 weeks of the season. I mean, they have the best opportunity now to forecast how they'll handle it going forward.
This pretty much is probably going to set the tone for it. So here's some of the key factors that I was just reading while you was talking. So not playing the game would only really doesn't affect the teams in the playoffs.
Correct.
But pushing it back would affect 14 clubs. So the decision was made to cancel it. If the AFC Championship game is with two teams with uneven amount of games played, then it will be at a neutral site. So, and then you already talked about the coin flip for the division for
so they're talking about Buffalo, Kansas City will be a neutral site. Buffalo and Kansas City both lose to Baltimore wins. They'll all be in a neutral site. They're trying.
Yeah, it's a couple of different scenarios.
If Buffalo and Cincinnati are in the AFC Championship game, it's going to be in a neutral site.
Well, that might benefit both because it's cold. and look, I don't think Bills Mafia is really worried because they will show up if it's in Antarctica.
Bring it down to Houston because that'll be the closest championship game that we'll have for a while.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and they ain't got to worry about us having no games. We wide open.
Wide open. Oh,
Wide
but then
open
the
in a
rodeo's
dome.
in town. Well, yeah.
Well, the
No.
rodeo won't have started yet, but it also depends if the stadium is booked. So I'm sure they're logistically looking
Yeah.
at what their options
Ain't no concerts.
would
I
be.
already checked.
Ain't no
Oh,
concert.
okay.
I'm just playing.
I got a
I'm just playing.
research
Ain't no
team now,
concert.
you guys. Guess what? I got a research team.
No,
Hey,
Yeah.
I'm just playing. I ain't checked that. I was hoping. I was
Bun
hoping
B
like
ain't
D.
coming to Bun B ain't coming till March. I mean, New Kids on the Block ain't coming till March. Hey, so hey, it's wide open.
oh,
You said
okay.
New Kids on the Block, bro. We're gonna talk about that
Yep.
later. So yeah, breaking
Oh
news while
wait,
we
look
on
at
this
you do the
screen.
hair
So
roll. Did you see the
I
hair
did.
roll?
I tried not to. I tried not to.
No, I'm just joking. I was just seeing the list. I just saw the list. That's all. Chris
I'm sorry.
Stapleton, all of them. Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, Tennessee whiskey. Mm.
Stapleton, that's gonna be a good one. But that's a different show. We talk about
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
All right.
Um,
All right.
and
So who you
so
pick? I'm sorry, we broke that. I think I know who you picking, but
I definitely said I give it to Buffalo at home.
Buffalo at home.
Coach,
I
I
got
am.
Buffalo at home. I got Buffalo at home. You said that.
I have Buffalo at home as well.
New
Well,
England needs this game though.
They do. But that
I
don't mean
got
they're gonna
Buffalo
win
at
it.
home.
That don't mean they're gonna win it. Yeah, right now New England holds the last wild card spot. But Miami, who we picked to lose, is right there, and Pittsburgh, who I think we all picked to win, is right there.
Man, y'all know how I feel about Pittsburgh. Tomlin never loses. Tomlin never
He finds a way.
he finds a way. I mean,
He finds
Tomlin.
a
I
way.
mean, the game we saw Sunday night, we was like, really? And then Pickett went down and scored that touchdown. And then they found a way because I mean, Tomlin he never panics. Never panics.
He has them boys prepared. So that should be fun to watch there. See what happens with that last spot right there. So
Well, on that note, it's time to retire this crown. This is my crown from winning state. Big Sexy.
you retiring? You retiring it?
Well, tonight, well, it was originally only for state. So I never wore it until my nephew's team made state. That was the condition. I got it early, and but
So
it was
can I make a suggestion?
what?
It's a championship game crown.
Yeah.
Don't retire it.
Don't retire it.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah, hey,
It's
what if they
multi-year
go?
championships.
it has to be
They
a
go-
championship game.
They go back.
Yeah.
They go back to back.
Now she gonna buy a different one, but that should
Oh,
be
yeah,
a
that's
championship game crown. So I'm just
Okay.
throwing it out there.
So does that mean I have to take it to Arizona?
Roses or flowers?
Yeah. So I have to take it to Arizona?
I would say so.
Okay.
I would say so.
I
Just a
mean,
suggestion. Think on that. No, marinate on it. Hold that for
Yeah. Well,
Okay,
because
okay.
I have the basic one of this look.
Yeah, but it don't have the flowers.
No,
though.
it don't.
Yeah.
And when I saw this, I was like, it's so gaudy and simple at the same time.
That
that
says championship.
Hey, you gonna have that same woman that asked you about why you wearing a crown. I'm just saying.
No, her question was a little bit more in depth. She asked me, was I wearing a crown to celebrate the queen?
Oh yeah, that's what it
And I
was.
was
That's what it was.
specifically like, no.
Yeah, that's what it was. I remember you said that. Yeah.
Really? Gonzalez, you know what? We're going to read your quote because you have been with us all season, and I'm going to let you have your little smash on me, okay? Gonzalez said my crown looked like the old 1930 Columbia Lady movie production crown where she holding the torch. Well, I'm going to hold
That's
up
a good
the
one.
torch. I'm going to hold up the torch
You
and try to avoid the middle finger and just give you the deuces and know that I want to wind up the other way. Okay. But that's okay. The greatest thing about me and the crowns is that I am secure in wearing them wherever I want and comfortable with who I am. And
them joints is a TV magnet.
Huh?
TV magnet. Camera
on
magnet.
TV and camera finds you everywhere.
But wait,
it's the crown. It's the crowns.
It's really the crown, but I guess the best one was in August because it was like every commercial break I was.
You had a cameraman locked to you. I refuse to believe
I thought
anything.
I thought you paying the dude, honestly.
Damn.
The way he was doing it, the way he had that camera on you.
But wait, I made every single TV spot for the team in Dallas. Every news show they put together, I was somehow in the clips to the point where all my inbox the next day would just be flooded with videos and screenshots. I just saw you on TV in Dallas. This is you. And so I literally ran into a friend that I hadn't seen in like over 6 or 7 years at the game. And I was like, how did you find me in this crowd? She said, the crown. What's
Who else wearing the crown?
But just not even thinking that but you got to think about it. At this point, it's been a year of me wearing the crown. Mm-hmm. I became crowned at the 49ers game in week 18 of 2022 because I had officially been to every stadium. So that was my crowning moment. And so here we are a year later. How many crowns do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 crowns.
You sound real bougie right now.
Oh, wait.
Real bougie.
So guess what?
I mean, how we know? I mean, that's what she is.
I mean,
wait a minute. No.
I'm joking with you. I'm joking.
It's in the ingredients. It's definitely in the ingredients. It's definitely
sprinkled.
In the ingredients.
Sprinkled.
Yeah.
But let's talk in fairness. What? I had crowns for different moments. The black crown, I just felt like I identified with it, so I had the black crown.
The more you explain, the bougier it gets. I mean, it's like
it's about to get really bougie when I tell y'all I've cleared out shelves in the linen closet that just have all my crowns. I want to take a nice picture. I'll share it with you guys later. I should do a crown video and discuss all the crowns.
Oh, cool.
TikTok. She gonna do a crown TikTok.
I did a similar one, but I'm gonna make this one about the crowns, not about me when I wear them. So you right though. I'm gonna make sure I keep that championship energy with this one. And this one is so easy to travel with too. It's much easier for championship moments because you get a little caught up, Okay, I'm going on a tangent and I'm gonna get off my tangent. But I'm entitled to it. It's my birthday month. So on that note, if you don't like people that put cash apps up for their birthday, just keep scrolling. You don't have to give them any money. I've never put up one, but I've never been bothered by one either. So you won't be seeing one from me this year. But you will see me reminding folks about the importance of a will, power of attorney. We saw how quick things can change, and you need to have the right people in control. A medical directive, which is when you are incapacitated. All those things were on display for us this past week, and I just need people to start thinking about them and taking them more seriously. It's not a plug for me. It's a plug because it matters to me. I'm highly concerned about this area and the lacking of people being able to handle their affairs. As much as I travel, I keep a will in a easy location for my family and take care of things. And so I just wish you the same. So I'm gonna end it with that. And Coach, you can let the people know where to find you. And again, that's my rant.
And find me at Coach B Pat at Twitter and Instagram.
Basics.
D Jones.
You can find me Instagram, DJones9804, Twitter, that boy D Jones, and I will plug her. If you need all those things that she just talked about, you need to holler at the Gransberry because she's gonna take care of you.
Yeah, for a fee.
And
my fee. And wait,
for free.
The price
is the price.
And today's price.
It ain't yesterday's. Today's price ain't yesterday's price. Yesterday's price ain't today's price. It's the price.
All right, I'm sorry. I was plugging you. You
was plugging me, but I just want them to know before they call me. And the price is not the price, so you can pay for plane tickets because people get caught up in their feelings about that too. Because last time I checked, y'all head to every grocery store. If you can't afford it, you don't pick it up or you put it back. You don't get to the register saying you're gonna change the price on that food, them eggs, them juice.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. So be sorry. because you know how I feel about that. They always want
All
me to
right.
negotiate the price.
Stop messing up my commercial. If you need those things, holler at the Gransberry. T, tell them where they can find you.
You can find me at the Gransberry, always Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. I'm also on the Good Morning Only crew. That's where we start the day with a smile. We haven't added that to the show yet, and that's fine. You can still find it through going to the Gransberry. But we could all use some positivity every now and then. So I want to thank you guys for joining us. We have had an excellent regular season. Next week, we'll announce our winner of the regular season that is not a part of the show. And they can join Gentry in getting their fabulous championship ring. We also know it won't be Gentry. He will not be a back-to-back champion. And so I kind of like that because it keeps people geared up for the next time. And I'm trying to figure out what I want to do for the playoffs. So I'll make sure to get that together so we can figure out something for the playoffs as well to have a good time. So with that, I want to thank you guys for joining us.